have many development landmarks which have been spurred by science, technology, and innovation. Today, we have been given this opportunity to showcase the STI interventions which have aided the society. For opening the session, I take honor in inviting Dr. Devapriya Datta. Sir initiated the Vigyan Utsav program of DST in September 2021, and this is the eighth month of the program. Sir is the present head and advisor of Seed Division and SST program of Department of Science and Technology. He obtained his doctorate from IARI and joined ICAR. He served as scientist in the Central Soil and Water Conservation Research and Training Institute, Dehradun, and then joined the NRDMS division of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He served in the same department till May 2008 when he was appointed as the scientific counselor in the Embassy of India, Washington, D.C. during 2008 to 2012. He handled the India and US Science and Technology Cooperation at policy and projects in the sectors of health, energy, climate, environment, and education during this important assignment and thereafter. Sir has also steered many important policies regarding development of state SNT in India. I welcome you, sir. I welcome you, sir, for the opening session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mandakini, and good morning to Dr. Jatinder Kaur for again, the leading this, taking the Vigyan Utsav in its eighth month, and also my very, the hearty welcome and greetings to Dr. Sahani, to be with us, Dr. Brar, Mr. Brar, and Mr. Singh also with us. Actually, as Dr. Mandakini was talking about. Though we taken this every month as a theme, but the original idea is that this the state S&T councils, like this network which started in 1971 and subsequently in different states, it was established, is evolving for catalyzing the science, technology, and innovation ecosystem at a state level. And if you see that the state at the STI ecosystem at a state level, obviously the center of that is in research and development. Then the technology, the technology development. And the institutional and the human capacity building, including the S&T infrastructure building, and the the innovation, then the policy, and then the technology deployment, and for the socioeconomic development of a state. So if you look at it from that perspective, uh, the deployment of the technology for the social as well as the economic developments are at the core of this Atmanirbhar Bharat. Where we are talking about at the core is an technology, system, which will make the India Atmanirbhar Bharat. And during this 12 months of and this Vigyan Utsav, we are also trying to look it into that, not only an assessment, but what's the future strategy for utilizing that at state level STI ecosystems in order to bring the Atmanirbharata in Bharat. And that's the reason, this month the component of the STI ecosystem, that is the science and society, which India has adopted as an its nation building, well back after its the the independence itself, and it has evolved over time. So as and also, as we know, in Punjab, Punjab is one of the the prosperous, social and the economically prosperous state. So this month and this the whole today, the whole this 3-4 hours, as well as in the subsequently, as we will look it into that across the states, how the the scientific and the technological development has really impacted the social and the economic the ecosystem in that in the state, how the innovations has been utilized for the socioeconomic development, especially our focus, since like all of us as part of the the government, the disadvantaged sections of the the society. So the disadvantaged sections means the SC/ST, the community, the other disadvantaged communities, like the Vangyan, the and also the elderlies, like that, like in different state it will this vary according to the state and state. And how really that what are the gaps like which needs to be bridged, because ultimately, like if you see that at the core of this science and society is the and the role like which we the different the players in the government play is to bridge this science and society setu. So is this setu, like in the in terms of the technology development, technology the transfer, technology deployment, as well as the capacity building in the communities for absorptions of this technology. Unless and until like as our honorable prime minister is talking about that the coming 25 years, the development will be the India's development will be based on the science and technology. So unless and until like we can improve the absorption capacity of the larger number of the community of the society people, the only the technology development we will not make an Atmanirbhar. So this is the way like we are trying to like when discuss over this 1 month, and specifically today in the context of Punjab, we'll try to see that what we have, what is the as is scenario, and in the context of this, if we take this the 25 years as a as our like the target of for making science and technology based atmanirbharata, where will be the what will be the to be the scenario, and in that context, that how we strengthen the different aspects of that science and technology for the society, and the strengthen the science society setu. So I, wish you all the best. And whenever we interact with the Punjab Council, we always, look forward for, the something innovative, something new, and those, the something new and the, innovative ness which we can take across the nations for strengthening this, not only the STI ecosystem, but it is in the context of this Atmanirbhar Bharat. So wish you all the best, and definitely after this with so many the luminaries in the panel, we will be getting some new and the innovative ideas and the directions which not only through the science the society science state science and technology program, but across all the the science technology related programs in at the central as well as the state levels, we can align in order to strengthen the science and technology ecosystem for the benefit of the social and economic development at the state as well as the the national level. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. You have strongly advocated the connect between science and society, as we know that science and technology contribute significantly to the production of knowledge, and which in turn is important for the development of informed society. So moving forward, now it is my privilege to invite Dr. Jatinder Kaur Arora, Executive Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. Ma'am is also the Chief Executive Officer of Punjab Research and Innovation Council, which has been set up by Government of Punjab for championing research and innovation across sectors and domains. Additionally, she is Director, Punjab State Biotech Corporation and Member Secretary, Punjab Biodiversity Board. She has led a focused initiative for application of science and technology for the development of society. For her outstanding achievements in STI sector, the President of India has conferred her with the National Award for Women's Development through application of science and technology, instituted by Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, while the Government of Punjab has awarded her Punjab Sarkar Praman Patra. The Indian Television Academy has honored her with the Great Woman Award in Science and Technology category. She is also a recipient of Distinct Award of Society for Plant Research, and Punjab Agriculture University, her alma mater, has conferred her Award of Honor on her. She is member of various prestigious staff forces and committees of Government of India, Punjab government, as well as industrial and academic organizations. I invite you, ma'am, for your address on science and society, Punjab's perspective.
Mandakini, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Datta. I can see you are traveling, but you took out time to be with us. This truly invigorates all who are participating. And thank you, Dr. Giri Sahani, for being here. You would recall very recently when you inaugurated this program, the faculty development program that our Skill Vigyan Center, had organized with NABI and CIAB. I was requesting you that kindly share your first-hand experience of, science benefiting society in an unparalleled manner, that you have yourself steered the initiative. And I'm glad that you could readily agree to our request, and today you are here with us. I'll quickly take, just share the essence of this whole Vigyan Utsav, which Dr. Datta also mentioned, that the spirit behind it is that at the state level, we make all the stakeholders take pride. Am I audible here? Okay. So, Mandakini, again, you will have to confirm somebody.
You are audible.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So again, picking up the threads that all the stakeholders here in Punjab, we would want each one of you to connect with the STI ecosystem that we have in Punjab and how we are trying to build it up month by month, sharing one component of that with you so that you can contribute to it, you can take pride in what has been achieved so far, and also give your ideas how we can strengthen it further. So this month, directly sharing how science is contributing to society. Let me see why the slide is not moving. Just a second. Just a second. There are benefits of joining online, and then you sometimes face challenges also. Just a minute. Has my slide moved?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet moved. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there can be जो रोटी कपड़ा मकान की बात होती है ना, तो उससे ज़्यादा तो कोई सोसाइटी को से लिंक करने का बड़ा कोई और तरीका नहीं हो सकता. So I thought let's start with the roti itself, or especially when we talk of Punjab. When we say Punjab pioneered green revolution, I think it's a huge example of taking up a program in mission mode manner in a public-private partnership that helped India shift from being a food importer to food exporter within a decade's time when we talk of green revolution, and a revolution which Punjab steered. So I think the participants here would be aware of PL 480. That was a scheme of US in the early 60s, how it was from ship to mouth condition. We would wait for the ships to arrive from US and those feeding the masses here in India, and we having faced the droughts, the famine, that's where the challenge was put forward. Today, we talk very frequently of identifying grand challenges, throwing these open to research institutions to solve. But this is not a new lingo per se. This is years old. In early 60s, mid 60s, this challenge was so profound and was put forward to the agricultural research institutions, especially the Punjab Agriculture University here. And that's what happened. From that state, today we have not only food security, not only again for the state, but the entire country. We also have buffer food stocks. And today we talk of issues like how to manage more efficiently with support of technology, our public distribution system, our procurement system as far as food grains are concerned. And later on during the day, Mr. Barad will be sharing with you how technology helped in managing that during the COVID times. Uh, Having said that, this all could become possible because technological interventions happened at many fronts. One, high yielding varieties, development of those. Two, a lot of technology had gone into streamlining the irrigation system. So in Punjab we have almost 100% of area which is irrigated. And also, if you look at the farm mechanization aspect of it, this slide gives you just one figure here. There are many aspects to it. For example, in Punjab, for every 9-hectare area, there is one tractor. Whereas at the national level, if you look at the figure is for every 62 hectare, there is a one tractor. That's the national average. So you can examine, you can visualize how Punjab is in true sense called, when it's called the breadbasket of India. This has happened because of intensive focus on technology. But today the status is also that having put the entire focus on making the country food sufficient, there has been the environmental backlash. For example, the groundwater depletion. We have about 150 blocks here in Punjab. Out of those, 110 fall in the category of groundwater depleted. But I'll just share with you the one development of this year itself. We started, say, 5-6 years back with the policy level intervention that the farmers will start growing paddy after a certain date. So that paddy, as you know, is a water guzzler. So, policy level, besides various policy level interventions, that the lesser water gets consumed through technology interventions. The new technology called directly sown rice, direct seeded rice, DSR in short it is called, started with small demonstrations, and this year in 2021, out of the total area which is under paddy in Punjab, 20% has been brought under directly sown rice. So when we talk of state like Punjab, it's a huge achievement. Again, for which the credit goes to technological development. And the State Agriculture University has developed more than 700 varieties, Punjab Agriculture University. Out of those, 100 plus have been released at the national level. And today, the institutions like National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, Center of Innovative and Applied Bioprocessing, which have been specifically set up in the state to now focus on another aspect of food security, that is the nutritional security, have for the first time come up with zinc fortified wheat, anthocyanin-rich wheat, and also in the process of finalizing protocol for provitamin A enriched banana and so on. And today, when we talk of health, the impact of gaps in availability, access, absorption of food is assessed by food security outcome indicators like low birth weight of the infants, which are under 5 mortality, uh, nutritional and especially the micronutrient deficiency and so on. So our parameters have also changed over the time period, that how we look at food security today. When I say that the situation in Punjab is, I'm very happy to share with you that life expectancy at the birth and at the ages between 5 to 10 years in Punjab is the highest among states in India. This has become again possible because we have good infrastructure, we have good focus on research as far as the health sector is concerned, and many new projects are coming up, like the ones you see in the slide, Medicity, Tata Cancer Research Center, Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital, and so on and so forth. Also, if you see the state's ranking, Niti Aayog comes up with a health index report every year. Punjab ranks at 8th number in this. Also during COVID, there were the way the state, for example, if I give you an example of textile industry in Ludhiana, they jumped up into manufacturing the PPE kits, diversified and supporting the nation. Atmanirbharta is the keystone of Vigyan Utsav, which has been launched by Government of India. So during COVID situation, the textile industries in Ludhiana were one of the first ones to diversify their operations and start making PPEs, mask making, and so on. And again, the first app that came for COVID management, then many apps followed suit, was the COVA app, which Punjab developed. And I'm sure many of you would be knowing that eSanjeevani is a teleconsultation platform that our own institute here in Mohali, CDAC, developed, and which has been rolled out in the 12 states in India. Also during COVID, I remember that this has it has just started, and we left no stone unturned. Almost every microbiology lab in Punjab. Dr. Sahani has headed IMTech here in Chandigarh. IMTech was again one of the first ones besides PGI, and then even the livestock related labs which had expertise in livestock related microbiology were converted into COVID testing facilities. And we reached the target of testing 50,000 samples per day. This is another area, environment and climate change, which is at the core of developmental planning for the state of Punjab. The picture that you see on the right hand side, what we keep doing here is that the state development departments put forward their challenges, and then we take these to the research institutions, universities here. The picture is of a sensor-based platform developed by IIT Ropar. We have come up with the state action plans for all the rivers in Punjab to improve the water quality of rivers. So there was a challenge that how in a cost-effective manner the river water testing can happen in real time. So this challenge, we asked the State Council along with Punjab Pollution Control Board had given to IIT Ropar, and this is a picture of perhaps the last week only. They have come up with this platform. They are pilot testing it along a river, Satluj River in their vicinity at Ropar. Slowly we will take it to the places like Gudda Nala and so on and so forth. to actually curb the, to quickly find out where an industry releases a discharge into a water body. Also happy to share with you that I host a state action plan on, we are developing state action plan on climate change 2.0 for Punjab, and I host Punjab State Climate Change Knowledge Center in the council, which is steering that. Large number of adaptation projects, projects for climate adaptation. Our development departments, our universities are coming up with. We have, Gadwasu also sharing with us today their experience. Gadwasu, for example, has come up with a climate resilient livestock sheds, which are being replicated again not only in Punjab, but Ministry of Environment and Forests has is ensuring that these get replicated across the country. We brought this project under National Adaptation Fund on climate change. And also happy to share that we came up with the first state action plan 1.0 version in 2014. After that, the state funded, or we mobilized funding around 4,000 crore has gone into putting the strategies we had proposed in action in Punjab, and now we are taking a stock of those in State Action Plan 2.0 version, and also developing new strategies which will be implemented till 2030. Another aspect that developmental aspect, another focus area that I want each one of you to get connected with and also take pride in is that our target is currently about the total installed capacity for electricity that we have in Punjab. About 12-13% of that we are meeting from renewable resources. And our target as a state is that by 2030, we will be meeting 21% of our total electric installed capacity from renewable resources. This we are backing up. This action we are backing up with the policy, with technology. I don't know how many of you are aware that the world's largest single rooftop solar power plant is here in Punjab. It's in Dera Vyas. Also, we have single location largest solar power plant of about 31 megawatt at Mansa here. And on the left hand side, if you see the table, all of us have been, only know the problem of paddy straw burning. You see it in media everywhere. But wish to share with you that, we every year, about 18 million ton of paddy straw is the quantum that we generate in Punjab. Out of that, about 2.6 million ton comes from basmati rice, which finds usage in for the various other uses. Now the concern is the paddy straw, which comes from the non-basmati rice, and that again is to the tune of about 16 million ton. And the table that I have included in this slide is that this year our target is that out of this 16 million, of course, a lot of effort is going for using it at the in situ level within the ground, mulching it in the ground, for which huge machinery, large number of machinery has come, has been put in place in Punjab. But this is a huge figure that about 6 million ton we plan to use through technology deployment for its ex situ management. This includes biomass-based power plants, biomass-based compressed bio-CNG plants, paddy straw-based ethanol units, paddy straw-based industrial boilers, thermal power plants, their usage in brick kilns as fuel, as livestock fodder. I think each one of you need to take a note of this, that this is what, this is the level of development, level of work which is going in Punjab. And also happy to share with you that within the last 3 years, my own teams have supported about 1,600 MSMEs in Punjab in adopting cleaner technologies, bringing energy efficiency in industry. And this is also the plan for, the couple of years to come. We've already launched Mission Innovate Punjab that we steer from the State Council, Mission Tandrust Punjab, Mission Biotech Punjab, Mission Skill Development, Startup Punjab, and Mission Science Popularization. If you see, this is the research and innovation infrastructure that we have in Punjab. You can read the numbers. At this point of time, we have very good infrastructure to support R&D, to support innovation, and our endeavor is to synergize this ecosystem, and augment this ecosystem. For this, we are developing India's first, will be the first state of India to develop state STI observatory, which will have the STI framework on all the important parameters in the indicators. It will showcase, it will be a gateway which will showcase what are all resources available, what are all facilities available here. These are the focus areas which you see on the right hand of the slide. The observatory will focus on. It will have the researchers network, the technology platforms. It will showcase state's IPR portfolio as well as the grand challenges so that the institutions can align their research with these challenges. Also, a lot of ground has been covered and a lot of work is being done to inculcate scientific temper by bringing in Nobel laureates here, by taking our students, exposing them to what happens in the knowledge-led industries, bringing in innovative methods of teaching. Various platforms have been set up. I shared with you about Climate Change Knowledge Center. There is a Patent Information Center which drives the IP literacy. There is a Skill Development Center which has been set up by involving 10 knowledge institutions, and a large number of programs have been taken up for the unreached. For example, there is a program in Shivalik foothill area of Punjab. It's a center which is generating employment to the tune of 2 lakh man days every year, especially for rural women through technology. Rural artisans are being empowered, especially the women artisans. One example I would like to share here with you that we got a cluster of artisans, which are about 800 women in that cluster. Registered them, got them registered as authorized users of GI. Fulkari is a GI, geographical indicator from Punjab. There are many, many such examples. So wanted to share with you that this is the level, this is the passion, the energy with which the state of Punjab is moving forward to connect science with society. And I'm sure all of you are looking forward to the experience sharings, direct experience sharings from the likes of Dr. Giri Sahani, Mr. Berard, which, as I said, are unparalleled. I stop here and over to you, Mandakini, for taking this forward.
Thank you, ma'am, for the informative presentation. Under your guidance, the state has really done a commendable work for socio-economic development of the society through STI interventions. So next, I am honored to invite Professor Giri Sahani, former Director General, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and Secretary of DSIR, and a well-accomplished scientist who is globally recognized for his contributions in developing clot-buster drugs in India. Sir has contributed immensely in the area of protein cardiovascular drugs, especially clot busters, and their mode of action in the human body. He was responsible for producing technology for India's first indigenous clot buster drug, which have been marketed with several brand names like Clotbuster and Lipoflow. He has developed a novel life-saver thrombolytic drug for India that has patented worldwide. For his outstanding contributions to the society, he has been awarded the Wasvik Industrial Award in 2000, CSIR Technology Shield in 2001-2002, National Biotechnology Product Development Award in 2002, Rainbexy Award in Pharmaceutical Sciences in 2003, and Vigyan Ratan Award in 2014. With this, I welcome you, sir, and invite you for keynote address on development of streptokinase and affordable life-saving drug for societal benefit. Over to you, sir.
Hi. Hello. Namaskar. Sat Sri Akal to everybody. Dr. Jitendra Arora, thank you for having me in this very important program where we connect with a lot of young people and other stakeholders to talk about the importance of technology and the accomplishments that Punjab has been doing. I saw with great keenness the presentation, Dr. Arora, you made in the morning just now, and it's very, very impressive because, of the scale up. Technologies are like seeds, but they do not blossom into big trees and fruits unless the scale up is done. And this is a great story of connectivity with the stakeholders. I think this is a great commendable accomplishment from Punjab. Punjab is known for its energy, verve, never say die, and enthusiasm and good feeling. And this state has been blessed by such great leaders in the past, spiritual leaders, and seva is part of our culture here. And scientists are also sevadars, they are also service oriented people, but most of the time they are engaged in the creation of new knowledge, the understanding of new knowledge, and sometimes also for the application of this knowledge. But the application of this knowledge can only start from the labs when it has to end to the end user, it has to go to the end user. So many other stakeholders come into the value chain, notably industrialists, state, etc. As Dr. Arora also pointed out, the great revolution, the food revolution, the green revolution that we had in Punjab, and it fostered a fundamental economic strength to the nation, actually was largely state driven. The technology came from abroad, but the scale up, the dissemination, the absorption to the last particle of soil, to the last ration shop, as it were, happened because so many people assembled and carried out that message under very difficult and perilous times. I was a school-going kid when we were all bound by ration shops. I was in Delhi at the time, and there was overall a feeling of scarcity, not only for food, but for milk, etc. So the state-run, state-guided, state-led revolutions that we had are testimony to the need for good science, but the propagation of the science at various levels so that it becomes a success. Today, I will spend 5-10 minutes on some of the things that we did at IMTech in CSIR, which is an example where exactly these properties of good science, multidisciplinary science, cooperation with stakeholders, understanding the needs of the problem, and trying to solve those. As you are all aware, just as agriculture, biotechnology has also been a great revolution in this country. And pharmaceutical science is also a great revolution in this country. Space has been a great revolution. The milk revolution has also been there. But in the pharmaceutical industry, the big change came when the patent laws were changed, so that it gave us opportunity to this country for the scientists and the industrialists to come together and not be shackled by multinational, international interests, as it were, but also allowing the chemists to come up in their labs extremely process efficient processes that were very efficient economically. And these were fast adopted by industry. And today, where do you find the country? Among the top 2-3 nations in the world, where we are the pharmacy of the world, as it were, because the processes developed by our chemists, created end products, drugs at affordable prices. So the story that I am going to describe is also similar. When I joined CSR in the early 90s, at that time, CSR decided, along with other science agencies, that we should develop biotechnologies. The government, especially the Department of Biotechnology, also gave a lot of encouragement to laboratories as well as industrialists to come together. And one of these programs was on clotbusters and other therapeutically important proteins. So when I came in and joined as a scientist, I had decided that I will try to do science which will be not only interesting to me, challenging intellectually, but also try to develop processes using molecular biology techniques where these products could be produced cheaply and affordably in conjunction with industry. Now, clotbusters have a very important role because, can I have the first slide? I think I went slightly overboard and we can start again from the slides. Can I have my first slide? I think
Yes, sir. So we are trying, sir.
all right.
So it's visible.
Yeah. So here you have the biggest icon of science. And what did he say? He said, the intuitive mind is the most sacred gift. You see, the capability of the scientist, philosopher, artist, artisan, bureaucrat, everybody, we are all scientists, we are all learners, to actually use our intuitive mind where we go deep inside and think about a problem deeply and the solution comes. We have to recognize this is a very, very important property. Next slide. Because once we recognize that curiosity, you see, our as scientists, as teachers, as learned members of society, curiosity is something that takes us forward. And the curiosity, once it is linked to imagination and hard work and linkage, solves society's problems. Just as it solves technical problems, just as it solves scientific problems. We publish papers trying to solve challenging intellectual problems. And these findings then are translated into patents. And these patents are then taken up in conjunction, cooperation with industry to produce products and services. Whether these are dwarf varieties, wheat varieties, or these are new biochemicals, or these are new drugs, or new robots, or other engineering products, it all starts with the mind, but it has to be taken to a level where the consumer, the person who needs those services and products, gets these affordably. Next slide. But anything in science starts with definition of a problem. It is propelled by curiosity, leads to ideas and hypotheses, and then we understand the problem, how the basis of solving the problem. The outcomes are publications and patents, and sometimes prototypes, and these prototypes are taken to products. Now, this whole cycle is a pretty complex cycle, is like a multi-linked chain in which every chain is important. But as we go towards the final stage, which is like patents and prototypes and products, the input becomes different than the inputs in the laboratory. So the laboratory inputs are chiefly intellectual and experimental. But the late part, when the scale up has to be done, there has to be a lot of infusion of expertise of a different kind, and also sometimes investment which is anywhere between 10 to 1,000 times more than the left hand side of the value chain. The science in the laboratory, suppose we spend 10 rupees for the scale up and implementation, sometimes we have to spend 100 rupees to 10,000 rupees. So the scale up is many orders of magnitude forward. Therefore, it is very important that the seed of technology that we create in the laboratory is smart, is well thought out, and is always open to constant improvement. Because as the technology is absorbed, the technology needs to be refined continuously. If it is not refined, it becomes static and obsolete. Next slide. In CSR, in IMTech, where I did most of this work along with several other groups, this was a truly team effort of altogether close to 50 to 60 scientists and more working for a period of at least 10 to 15 years, where a small little bouquet of critically important drugs came out. Next slide. From the microbial world, you can generate enzymes, you can generate sundry proteins, you can use the microbial world to express genes, which will produce products, protein and peptide products, or nucleic acid products for vaccine, which are very, very useful. All of you already know that, so I will not dwell on that. But publicly supported R&D institutes are a very important primary link, because state has the money and resources, and it can focus on trying to get the seeds out, which can be taken to a technological level and products. And that is what we did. We, in IMTech, the leadership realized that cardiac problems and heart disease is number one problem of this country. Next slide. And if you see this global map, you will see certain areas in red. Now, this area in red, which includes India, parts of Africa, and also Russia, but not United States, Canada, Central America, etc. Not the rich countries, not even Australia, but the poor countries. The red indicates the number of people who succumb to cardiac problems. The cardiac problems are there everywhere because of many reasons. You know, lifestyle problems, food, etc., sedentary habits, risk of stress. But the number of deaths per thousand of people is highest in these red marked areas. So therefore, the point that is very, very poignant here is that cardiac diseases are most lethal amongst the poor people in the world. Now, this is a very eye-opening fact, which as a scientist, when I learned and others learned, and our leadership in CSR learned, they said, let us take up a project, let us focus on producing the first cardiac drug, plus, the first clotbuster. Clotbusters are plasminogen activators. They are kind of proteins that activate plasminogen in the blood to plasmine, which is a protease, which dissolves the blood clot. So if somebody gets a stroke or somebody gets a heart attack, and if you inject a clotbuster within, say, 1 or 2 hours of the first symptoms, 30, 40, 50%, even 50% of the people's lives can be saved. Because the first few hours are critical. And if the person is able to survive that and can be taken to a hospital, there can be then slightly more expensive, but more long-term lasting therapy, including positioning of stents, etc., or bypasses that can happen. But the initial availability of clotbusters or not is a life and death issue. So we thought we'll develop India's first clotbuster. At that time, the most premium clotbuster in the world was called tissue plasminogen activator. Was one injection, it cost almost $1,000. At that time, about 40,000 rupees. Very few people can afford it. So we decided to start a program of fermentation, take natural streptokinase strains, hyperproducer strains, and do fermentation and improve the process so that we can make clotbuster in the country, give it to a company, and the company can produce at affordable cost. Next slide. Almost it's a number one killer of people in this country. Diabetes is also there, but diabetes also contributes to the development of cardiac problems. So it's a double whammy. 30 to 35% of all deaths in India are due to cardiac problems. Next slide. And it accounts for almost loss of 1.25% of GDP. This is a very formidable figure. It cannot be overstated. 1.27% of GDP is lost because of cardiac problems. Humongous lost because people lose their lives, families lose their breadwinners, and you can see the consequences. Most of the country is poor. Most of the country is living hand and foot, from hand to mouth. And such a tragedy, if it happens to poor people, becomes absolutely devastating. For a reasonably well-to-do person, also it is devastating, but at least they have recourse to sophisticated methodology, cath labs, etc., stents, clotbusters, etc. Next slide. Now, the discovery of clot-busting dissolver drugs, which happened in the late 60s, etc., 70s, with streptokinase in the Western countries, actually was a great boon. But these drugs were all imported in this country. As I said, streptokinase and TPA, tissue plasminogen activator. Next slide. About 20 years ago, when we started work on this, probably a little earlier also, streptokinase at that time, monetary value costed about 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per injection. How many people can afford it? It was mostly not given by hospitals because it was in the high income kind of a high cost medicine range. And the TPA one injection cost 40,000 rupees, almost $1,000, and it was all imported. Streptokinase was all imported. So we said, let us develop streptokinase technology from natural streptococci, which produce this. So we isolated a hyper producer strain. In fact, we isolated an ordinary strain made into a hyper producer, and then we standardize the fermentation. There was another scientist called Dr. Banerjee, and he and our group actually produced the technology for natural streptokinase. And this was then transferred to a company called Cadila Health, which is an absolutely smart company. And they developed this technology to scale up within 1 year and came out with a product. Because it was natural pharmacopic product, natural streptokinase, the regulatory aspect was not as much as the recombinant one. Next slide. So this streptokinase injection was launched by Cadila in 2001 and 2002 approximately. It became a bestseller. The availability of a clotbuster drug for about 1,000 rupees, 1,400, 1,500 rupees in the market immediately, because of competitive effect, brought down the price of imported streptokinase also. So this actually, the fact that you produce technology which is a smart process, which is affordable, you link up with a company which is also visionary, which takes up these products and markets it, which has this muscle to market it, produce it and market it. That was the formula that became successful. And within 2 or 3 years, it became a best-selling brand, displacing a lot of the imported stuff. Then our groups in IMTech, they, because of the experience of this fermentation, etc., side by side, we were working on cloning and expression in optimal systems in E. coli. Recombinant RSK was also developed. Another scientist called Dr. Kanalata Dikshit, my group, we collaborated and produced technology for recombinant streptokinase, which was launched in 2009, and it also became a clotbuster. These two, a blockbuster. So what happened was these two drugs became highly affordable. Other companies also started making it later, but IMTEC's technology, CSR's technology for these two drugs constitute approximately 50%, by last count, almost 50% of the clotbuster doses produced in this country. Next slide. Then we went on to smart molecules. TPA is a fibrin-specific clotbuster. We decided to do protein engineering of this molecule. We cloned this molecule, did a lot of biochemistry on it. Crystal structure was not known, but we solved the issue of how this molecule works, how does it interact with plasminogen, and converted into a molecule, patented it, which is clot specific, just like tissue plasminogen activator. This we licensed to a US company for several millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. This drug is under development. It is currently in human trials at phase 2, and it is quite likely then in a couple of years after this COVID issue is slightly better, clinical trials can happen, more investment can happen, and it will lead to a smart patented clotbuster, which will be clot specific, just like TPA, but will be much more affordable. Next slide. So a number of products actually for recombinant streptokinase and natural streptokinase were launched because one of the companies that took over technology, Shasun Drugs from Chennai, they were bulk manufacturers. They still manufacture bulk streptokinase from our technology and give it to a lot of people who market it. So a lot of this brands selling in the Indian market are from CSR technology, Indian technology, which is helping people See, ultimately, this I remember the best price Shasun told me was 600 to 700 rupees for an injection that they were giving to hospitals. Now, hospitals also upgraded because it requires hospital setting to give close monitoring. But the fact that something that costed 5,000 or so rupees in 1994 prices and now available for 1,000 rupees is a great advantage. Lot of people, including many poor people, could afford to get this drug. Not only rich people who are the people who get heart attacks and cardiac problems, poor people also get. They don't just get TB, they get heart attacks also. If you go to the hospitals and see the wards, as I've done, about 80% of the people are not rich people. They are from lower middle class, poor class, but they can afford this drug. Now, this contribution to national economy, because cardiac problems lead to almost 1.25% of GDP loss, has been computed by economists. Next slide. To help India gain 30,000 crores of value for the people of India. And this is 2011 figures. After the passage of another 10, 12 years, this must be a much larger figure. That is the economic benefit of our streptokinase technology for the people of India. The fact that scientists could make smarter processes, they could use latest technology, recombinant DNA technology, protein technology, link up with stakeholders, partners, and generate the business models to be able to produce these and market these, get them through regulatory approvals, is a testimony to what we can do, what science can do for the common people. And I think I am very gratified, humbled by the fact that I have been a part of this endeavor. Although it took 15, 20 years to develop it, every moment was worth it because it taught us so much, and it is completely in the spirit of seva that scientists can do for society. At the end of the day, it is not money, it is not awards, it is but the feeling that you have done something, your small little bit in this world. When you came, you got so much from your parents, you got so much from society, you got so much from your teachers, you get so much from your students. But when you get a chance to contribute, you can only thank the Lord that you got this opportunity. Next slide. So we unraveled the mechanism behind streptokinase action. This was pure science, published science. We understood that streptokinase interacts with another protein, plasminogen, through long-range interactions, and if we are able to put a molecular switch in these long-range interactions, you can get a protein product which will actually go and not get activated in the bloodstream like normal streptokinase, and then get activated only in the clot so that it becomes a clot-specific missile type of targeted product. Now, this concept, we took it to patenting. Next slide. And we got patents, number of patents on it, which were licensed out and licensed out under milestone agreements for hundreds of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, it's not the hundreds of millions of dollars that values. It's a value that you put to technology and science that is very gratifying. Next. Next slide. And TPA actually senses fibrin, and as soon as it senses fibrin in the clot, it becomes super activated. Our product also gets super activated like this, but we have engineered that. In TPA, it is a natural evolutionary engineering that nature has done. So we made a smart missile, as it were. We made a targeted drug which became smarter, and we could patent it and license it. Next slide. So it was not just biogeneric technology. It was not just smart processes. It was smart science also. This is a map of one of the products that we licensed, which is under licensing, which we patented. And you can see that it is a multi-fusion, genetically engineered, protein engineered product with very smart modifications in the natural protein, so that the protein gets very site-specific flexibility where it can be activated. It's like a trigger. So we put a trigger in the protein. It's a large, complex protein whose crystal structure also came out eventually. And we found that our hypothesis, where we had solved not the crystal structure, but we identified the hotspots which needed tinkering by protein engineering. They were spot on in the crystal structure. But by the time, we had already filed the patent. Next slide. Which was a lucky thing to do, because once you get the crystal structure, a lot of people can modify and make a drug. But we could do it in the absence of a crystal structure by doing smart biochemistry. So what happens on the left, you have the streptokinase onto which fibrin binding domains have been fused by genetic engineering. When you give an injection, it binds to plasminogen, but unlike streptokinase, there is no activation. It remains dead. So in an inert state, it circulates, goes to the clot, and the clot it becomes activated because we have put a trigger in it. The trigger in that smart protein, smart bomb as it were, actually senses something in the clot and gets activated. Now that is like good science. Next slide. Keep on adding return to it. Yeah. So the fibrin binding domains are ejected, and the clot buster becomes active locally within the clot, so that there is no damage overall in the system. When you inject streptokinase, normally what happens, there is a risk of hemorrhage, and you cannot easily use streptokinase unless there is a hospital setting. And this product can be given by local pharmacists also, so that there may not be a need to go to a full-fledged hospital setting. A paramedic can also give, because the side effects have been minimized and the clot busting is as efficient as. So a number of products have been made, and this work is still going on thanks to CSR's continued support at IMTech and another laboratory in CSR in Palampur, where we are upscaling a state-of-the-art clot buster which will prevent reocclusion, and we are going to test it in monkeys now in Japan very soon. Next slide. So this saga, this story is from first generation natural streptokinase to second generation recombinant streptokinase to third generation clot specific streptokinase to fourth generation antithrombotic streptokinase and fifth generation pegylated streptokinases, which have improved half-lives, which are also necessary. So this whole series of biomolecules, biodrugs, is a very interesting journey spanning almost 15 to 20 years of 50 to 60 people, lot of multidisciplinary research, and a lot of capability and opportunity to produce things for society. Next slide. Next slide. So if we launch projects which are also driven by fundamental questions, but are open to solving useful problems, that is the magic mix I found in my own career, where you take up a problem which is intellectually challenging, which has its own scientific challenge, but also if you are succeeding in unraveling that challenge and overcoming that challenge, will lead to insights that can be used to make processes and products of value to society. That is, I think, a very satisfying path to take. It can be done consciously. There is a switch that we have to realize, that early stage in career, we have to realize that whether we take up a problem which will not only be intellectually satisfying for us, but it will also do good to society. It is slightly more challenging to do because the cost of failure is high. You put in a lot of effort into a problem. It may not lead. It may not because of your fault. You may produce something and the industry is not there, or it falls because of so many things. But you have the satisfaction of grappling with a problem which will have a value in society. Thank you. Next slide. I think 1 or 2 slides are there. This is basically an acknowledgement of the various groups that contributed to this whole story. I was only part of it. In some sections I led, in other sections others led, but the overall tapestry of these 4 and 5 generations of clotbusters, which came out of IMTech, but it also became a project, a fast-track translation and fast-track commercialization project currently of CSR. I hope that more things will come out of it, and more young scientists will take up problems which are not only scientifically challenging, but also societally challenging. And if they provide solutions to industry or to other stakeholders, then the value that science will accrue and what will lead to what we call Atmanirbhar Bharat, where high technology produces high value solutions to Indian problems and world problems. Next slide. The only lesson I followed in this was never give up. Because if you give up, that's the end. You never give up. You fall, you rise, you fall, you rise. You have to rise n+1. If you fall n number of times, you have to get up n+1, and you will be solvent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your invigorating talk. The clotbuster and anti-agulant drugs developed under your guidance have indeed saved many lives, and our society has indeed benefited from these interventions. So moving forward, next we have with us Dr. Amandeep Singh. Dr. Singh is Assistant Professor in the Directorate of Extension Education, Gurdwara, Ludhiana. He has inherent interest in information and communication technologies. He has developed website named Wet Extension for information dissemination among interested stakeholders in livestock sector, which was his first ICT work. So with this, I invite you, sir, to tell us about the innovative practices in animal husbandry for societal and government.
You have to unmute yourself.
So you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So at the very outset, I want to apologize on behalf of Dr. Brad as he has to rush to Chandigarh for some ministerial meeting. So on his behalf, I'll be presenting this discussion. So I'm feeling very privileged today to speak in between Dr. Datta, Dr. Sahani, Dr. Brad, as they are the luminaries, Madam Aroda. They're the luminaries in the field of science and technology, and I feel very privileged. I want to thank all the officers and officials of Punjab State Council for Science and Technology to give us this opportunity to discuss on innovative practices in animal husbandry for societal upliftment. So, if we talk if we go back 50 years back, we see that then it started the animal husbandry. It started embedding into the very fabric of rural development. I want to begin with a shlok of Bhagat Kabir ji. He says, Naru mare nar kamana ave pashu mare das kaat savara, that even after the death of an animal, he fulfills 10 works of yours. And the same is the case with Jeev Jivasya Bhojanam in Sanskrit and Jiya Kahar. So this reflects the importance of animals not into the society, but the contemporary society, but the orthodox society wherein the ancient literature was written. So today, the science has emerged from livelihood to the innovation. So today we'll be discussing some innovative practices which the farmers are following, which we in Gadavasu we have developed for the farmers for societal upliftment. So I'll start with the quote by the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. So it's our duty not only to start farming using animals, but to take care of their ethics as well as welfare of the animals. Now, talking about the societal upliftment, stalwarts like Sri Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, Vinoba Bhave, they started uplifting the society way back in the pre-independence eras, and the community development project in 1952, it sowed the seeds for community upliftment or the societal upliftment. And from underdeveloped society to the developed society, there are three things which are very important, like augmenting the quality of life of people, then economic well-being by generation of sustainable livelihood, and the sustainable use of resources, that the resources may not shun at this very generation, but they may be used into the next generation as well. Now, talking about the domestication of livestock species, now talking about how animal husbandry has evolved or how animal husbandry has been developed. So it may be of interest to many of our listeners that wolves are the first animals, ancestors of dog. They were the first animal species domesticated some 15,000 years back in Neolithic era. Then goats were the first livestock species which were domesticated in Iran 10,000 years ago. Then came sheep, cows. They were domesticated in Indus Valley civilization, which is now located. That region is now located in Pakistan. And then pigs. They were domesticated in China. Llamas and alpacas in Peru. Then elephants came in South India, then chicken in China, horses in Kazakhstan. Buffalo, it was domesticated some 5,000 years ago in India, in Indus Valley civilization. Moreover, the area of Punjab, the Pakistani Punjab and the Indian Punjab, the buffaloes, they were domesticated in this area. And then camels were domesticated some 4,000 years ago. So this depicts the domestication of livestock species, how they were domesticated, what was the time span when they were domesticated, And this depicts the origin of animal husbandry. So how animal husbandry it began? We started controlling animals in their wild areas only. We started controlling animals in wild habitats some 10,000 years ago. We started with the goats, then we started captivating them near human settlements. So we brought them near our own settlement to take products from them. So goats initially they were reared for milk purpose. Then we captivated them near our own settlements. Then we created a group of animals and they bred on their own. After their breeding, after their extensive breeding, the number of animals increased, and then humans realized that now it is not possible for us to, feed animals near to our homes. Then the nomadic pastoralism it started. So humans they used to take flock of goats and sheep to the higher reaches for feeding them, and ultimately now is the era when intensive breeding, the specific breeding, and the scientific management is being taking place, and the animal they are commercially being used for the generation of enterprise and earning livelihoods. Now, as we talk about, if we talk about the livestock utilities for the society, the major utilities are obviously, animals, they provide income. It's a source of employment. It's a source of food security. They help up to meet uncertainties and they support crop production. And if we talk about livestock products, which we are getting, it's milk, meat, chicken, eggs, wool, and even the cow dung. They are being used for different various entrepreneurial purposes nowadays. Now, societal, how much the society it depends upon livestock, the data related to the societal dependence on livestock. So livestock sector, it employs 8% of the total Indian workforce, and which amounts to some 20.5 million people which directly depend on livestock for their livelihood. Livestock, it contributes some 16% to the income of small farm households as against an average of 14% for all the for all rural life households. About 87.7% livestock. It means almost the majority of the livestock, it is owned by marginal, small and semi-medium farmers, and only 13% of the livestock it is reared into the commercial setup. It means that the marginal and the small farmers they are the major stakeholders of livestock sector in the country. And if we want to do something, uh, we have to push them up. We have to bring them up to the level of commercialization. Only then only we can increase the production. And out of total cultivated area in the country, 1.69% it is used for all types of livestock farming, be it livestock housing, be it fodder production, be it feed manufacturing. Only 1.69% area it is used for livestock rearing. And if we talk about the standings of our country in livestock production, so we have the largest herd in the planet. The total livestock population is highest in India. We are at number one since 1999 in milk production. We have largest number of buffaloes in Cara beef, means in buffalo meat production, we are at number one. In goat milk production, we are at number one. And total bovine population, we are at number one. As far as cattle population, we are second next to Brazil. In goat population, we are next to China. In bristle production, we are next to China. Bristle is a byproduct of pig industry. In aquaculture, we are next to China. And in goat meat production, we are at place second. Then in egg production, we are at third position. In poultry production, at fifth. And in duck production, eighth. And camel population and wool production, we are at number 9. So these are the standings of our country, which depicts that uh, livestock sector is really very progressive sector if explored in a right way. And as far as livestock production in India is concerned, in the year 2020, these are figures of 2020-21. So total milk production of the country, it was 198.44 million tons. And as per ICR recommendations, 280 grams per day milk is required for an individual, whereas now the per capita availability of the milk, it has been increased to 406 grams per day. So we are way ahead than the ICMR recommendation to live a healthy life. And Punjab, we are at a very influential position. The per capita availability of milk in Punjab, it's highest in the country, and it's about 1200 grams per day. As far as meat is concerned, so ICMR recommendation, it is 11 kg per year, but the production is 6.45. The availability is 6.45 kg per year. It means that we do have a scope in the meat industry. We can start various enterprises wherein the meat can be fetched as a product. As far as eggs are concerned, 114.38 billion production is there, whereas the ICMR recommendation, it recommends 182 eggs per year. It means that half an egg per day. So we need a half an egg per day. whereas the per capita availability of eggs, it is 86 eggs per year. So ultimately, we can see that we do have a scope in meat and eggs. So the silver revolution and pink revolution, it has to take place in a proper way, and in lines with the white revolution, which has significantly increased the production of milk in the country. So talking about the major animal husbandry avenues for societal upliftment. So these are the very basic things which we everyone know, that if anyone wants to start some business, some venture related to animal husbandry, so these are the avenues with which he can get associated with. Like a person can start with dairy farming, be it cattle farming or buffalo farming, then backyard poultry farming, broiler farming, pig farming, goat farming, sheep farming, rabbit farming, fish farming. So all these enterprises, we all know these are related to animal husbandry sector. This will not only provide livelihood, this will not only generate employment for the people around, but also nourish them. It will also provide nutritional security. Suppose if we talk about backyard poultry farming, it can easily be done by the females of the family, and it provides an year-round employment for them. It provides year-round, supply of nutritious eggs for the family. So all these avenues can be explored. Apart from these avenues, there are so many other avenues in livestock sector which can be used for, which can be explored for livelihood generation, for societal development, like employment of a skilled person as a farm manager or a herdsman. In livestock sector, almost 60 to 70% of the economy, it is incurred on feed. So feed and supplement manufacturing is one more arena. We spend some 10%, 10 to 12% on farm equipment. So farm equipment can be manufactured, or it can be dealt with the product processing and manufacturing or value addition of livestock products. It's one more avenue which can be explored. And livestock products like as far as milk products are concerned, paneer, ghee, khoa, like egg jam, egg chips, egg powder, albumin, etc. It can be produced by value addition. And one can provide veterinary services, like we have a concept of Pashu Sakhis. And Pashu Sakhis, like females, can be trained for providing veterinary services at the doorsteps of the livestock farmers. Breeding services can be provided. Import export of machinery or livestock products can be done. At present, India is the largest exporter of Kara beef, the buffalo meat in the world. So this avenue can also be explored for livelihood generation. And moreover, this particular avenue can be scaled up. The export import avenue can be scaled up for entrepreneurial purposes. Then consultancy services, retail outlets for dairy, meat, eggs, value-added products, livestock product utilization like blood and bones. These blood and bones, the gelatin, it is made from the bones of livestock. Blood can be used for making blood meal, which is used as feed for the livestock. Then livestock dung-based initiatives like vermicomposting, dung sticks. So these are the allied sectors of dairy husbandry, which can be explored for generating more livelihood. We can go for contract farming, integrated farming. So there are certain livestock merchants and aggregators, which are also known as middlemen. They purchase livestock and products from the people and then sell to the end consumers. Then livestock transport vehicles, refrigerated vans can be started, and veterinary pharmacy and pharmaceutical industry is one more arena which can be explored for generating livestock, and which is associated with livestock sector and explored for livelihood purposes. Now, I had done some case studies of livestock farmers, how they are earning from this particular sector. Now, talking about a rural female dairy farmer, I have done a case study on a rural dairy female farmer. She was an illiterate lady. She doesn't know how to read and write. She owns two crossbred HF cows, and these cows, they produce 13 liters of milk. She kept 2 liters of milk for herself, sold 11 liters of milk per day, and she was earning an year back. She was earning 13,000 per month. So it means that this 13,000 per month, she's earning this 13,000 per day, sitting at her home, and this is a sort of a self-employment. And this model can be replicated at other places also. So this particular case study is related to dairy farming. Then coming on to broiler farming. Broilers are the birds which are used for meat purposes. Now, this was a broiler farmer. He started his, broiler farm in 1991 with a investment of 1.2 lakhs, housing 8,000 chicks. So the capacity of this poultry farm was 8,000 chicks. Today, excluding all the expenses incurred in the farm, he was earning 80,000 a month. So this was another case study on the broiler farming, whereby the large scale broiler farming, or even the small scale broiler farming, even if you start a broiler farm with 1,000 birds, we can easily, get a profit of 10 to 15,000 a month. So this farmer, excluding all the costs incurred on labor, medicine, feed, and everything, so he was earning about 80,000 a month. Then we are talking about diversification nowadays, that now there's the era of specialized farming, it has to end, and we need to diversify the farming. So this was a case study of a farmer located in Mansa district of Punjab. So this particular farmer, he started in 2015 with goat, pig, and fish. So he started with 3 enterprises. And when I calculated farm economics for this particular farmer for diversified farming, uh, I was astonished to see that he was also earning some 80,000 to 1 lakh a month, excluding all the expenses which were incurred in all three types of farming. And now he's getting into the farming of medicinal plants. He has planted fruit trees across the fish pond. So moreover, he is getting into integrated sort of farming. Now, this is the concept of converting waste to wealth by vermicomposting. So we see that dung is basically a waste which emanates from the dairy industry. But if we utilize this dung by using vermicomposting, the vermicompost. Yesterday, I purchased vermicompost a kg for rupees 30. So this particular farmer, he was selling vermicompost at 10 rupees per kg, and over and above his dairy income, he was earning 12,000 rupees by a simple setup of this vermicompost. Then these were the farmers, the slides which I discussed. These were the routine farmers who were doing routine practices. And now talking about the veterinarians who have started entrepreneurship in veterinary industry or in veterinary sector. Talking about Sheikh Akbar Ali. So these success stories are documented by Manage Hyderabad, that is National Agriculture Extension Institute. So I have taken these case studies from their documents. So he is giving ICT services to the fish farmers of Andhra Pradesh, and he's serving 2,000 farmers at this moment, and his annual turnover, it is 1 crores. Then Dr. Debashish Datta, he is basically a veterinarian. He hails from Assam, and he has started, layer farming, and now he's selling antibiotic-free eggs. So he is not doing organic farming. He is using some supplements, some mineral supplements, vitamin supplements in his farm, but he's not using any antibiotic and using only herbal preparations in his farm. And with this, his annual turnover is 20 crore rupees, and he's selling his eggs in different metro cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune. So he's one of the veterinarians. Now, extension of veterinary services, Dr. Farheen Muttaq, he's also a veterinarian hailing from Jammu and Kashmir. So she has started with veterinary and pharmaceutical extension services in Srinagar, and she is serving some 4,000 farmers and provided jobs for 10 persons. So her annual turnover is 35 lakhs. So these are the case studies of different allied arenas of or allied avenues of livestock sector which can be explored more, which can be replicated, which can be highlighted to the farmers, to the other stakeholders which are involved in the livestock sector, so that they can generate their livelihood, they can earn money from this sector. Now, Dr. Bamania Gajendra Kumar Kantilal, he's also a veterinarian. He started with Excel breeding. He started with providing artificial insemination services to the people in Gujarat. He's serving some 30,000 farmers nowadays, and his annual turnover is 50 lakh. Nowadays, he has started with the sale of sex semen, and he's selling sex semen for rupees 1,000 rupees per dose. So 2 doses are required for 1 AI. So he's earning 2,000 rupees from a single animal. Now, talking about the evidences of societal development through livestock farming. So these are again some of the economic case studies which we have pursued to understand that how much income can be generated from different avenues. Now, if you talk about a desi hen, so the economic case of a desi hen and reduction of poverty, we see that a desi hen, it costs around rupees 200 to 250 if we purchase an adult desi hen. A desi hen lays some 100 eggs per year, and a person, apart from eating that eggs, consuming that egg, imparting nutritional security to the family of that person, the person can earn 500 rupees per hen, and it can reduce the poverty by 3.25%, because as per Government of India, a person who spends some 15,000 rupees on the consumables below 15,000 rupees on the consumables, they are said to be poor. So a single hen can reduce the poverty up to 3.25%. And just imagine what 10 hens or 100 or 1,000 hens can do. Then if we talk about cows and poverty alleviation, if a single person rears a single cow, the income of that family, it increases 600%. It means that there will be an increase in six-fold increase in the income of that family. So this is another example where livestock, it helps to alleviate poverty. Now, if we talk about entrepreneurship development, if we talk about layer farming, a single layer bird, it provides a single hen provides a benefit, a profit of rupees 1,000. So suppose if a person is having a layer farm of 1,000 birds or 10,000 birds or even 1 lakh birds, so he can earn in crores. So this profit, it is exclusive of all the expenses incurred in the management of birds and the feeding and the medicine or in the healthcare, and also also includes the labor cost. So excluding all the expenses incurred in a farm, a person can gain 1,000 rupees profit per bird. But talking about pig farming started in the pig market. It is majorly concentrated in the northeastern parts of the country. But nowadays in Punjab, the pig farms, they are mushrooming up, and the pig farming, it's very lucrative nowadays for the youth. And we have calculated the economics of pig farming, and we have seen that even if a farmer sell half of the piglets, which are born after single parturition or after a single farrowing, a farmer can earn 12,000 rupees. So in 114 days, it means almost in 4 months, a farmer can earn 12,000 rupees. 12,000 rupees is the net profit of the farmer after 4 months, even if he sells almost half of the piglets which are born from a single sow or a single pig.
Oh,
Talking about integrated farming system, so integrated pig fish farming, it could generate approximately 7,68,000 rupees per acre. This is the profit I am talking about. Whereas in case of integrated fish and poultry farming system, approximately rupees 5,37,000 per acre can be generated. Now talking about the role of Gadwasu Ludhiana in societal upliftment. Now we have our 3 KVKs and 4 RRTCs. 3 Krishi Vigyan Kendras located in Tarantaran, Mohali and Barnala, and 4 RRTCs, regional research and training centers at Hoshiarpur, Tarantaran, Bathinda, and in Fazilka. So all the facilities which are provided by the Gadwasu, they are available at these centers. The people belonging to these districts or the nearby areas, they need not to come to university. They can go to these centers and they can avail all the services provided by the universities at these centers. Now, talking about the innovations which are endeavored or which are milestone innovations of Gadwasu. So Gadwasu has actualized the concept of One Health. One Health means where we take environment health, human health, and animal health into consideration. This concept is called as One Health, and we are proud to say that Gadwasu is the only veterinary university in the country to get COVID-19 testing lab for the testing of COVID suspected samples. So if we talk about innovations in livestock sector, we have automated aquaponic system which we have established by the College of Fisheries in Gadwasu along with CDAC Mohali. So now we are producing vegetables such as lettuce and spinach along with pangas, catfish, and this particular unit is giving 8 to 10 lakhs rupees revenue per year to the university. We have established Pashupalak Tele Advisory Kendra in our university, which is a communication center for especially for the livestock farmers. It has been established on the lines of Kisan Call Center. So the farmers of Punjab and the nearby areas, every day we are getting some 50 to 70 calls. And this project is basically funded by NABARD, and this is one innovation which is endeavored by Gadwasu for livestock farmers to provide them with easy advisory and troubleshooting. Then this is one massive open online course for pig farming. This is first of its kind course, which is developed in Hindi language, because we know that all the MOOCs, they're for the educated stakeholders in different industries. But this is the first MOOC in Hindi language, which is developed by Gadwasu on pig farming. Then Madam Arora has already talked about this climate resilience shed structure at Gadwasu. This is with the help of Punjab State Council for Science and Technology and DST. We have developed this shed. So this is a latest innovation, latest endeavor by the Gadwasu, wherein smart collars are being used, automated foggers are being used, automated feed machines, and total mixed ration. There are some latest techniques of nutrition and management of livestock is being used in this particular shed. And these are the nutritional technologies which are being developed by Gadwasu. Area-specific mineral mixture. We have developed 4 types of mineral mixture based on different areas and soil types of Punjab. We have bypass fat for high-yielding cattle and buffalo for increasing the fat percentage in their milk. We have Uromin lick. We have developed Uromin lick by which the trace minerals they are provided to the animals so that their production can be increased. Now, if we talk about the innovation in the livestock health, these are basically the applications of artificial intelligence. We have thermal imaging cameras for disease diagnosis and anti-stress ear tag for cattle. So this tag basically records some 27 to 30 parameters of the animal body, its respiration, heart rate, blood composition, and tells us whether the animal is in stress or not. If the animal is in stress, it alarms the farmer so that necessary interventions can be taking place. Then automated feed manager, it manufactures feed as per the physiological state of the animal for pregnant animals, for dry animals, for lactating animals. So we have different categories of animals. So this automated feed manager, it formulates feed for different cattle, for different categories of the animals on its own. So we have robocams for poultry for monitoring poultry farms. Then we have smart collars for detecting fertility based on the physiological parameters of the animal, and smart pedometers. In animals, we have in buffaloes, especially, we have a problem of silent heat that we cannot detect their heat and they cannot be inseminated on time, which leads to huge economic losses for the farmer. So these smart collars and smart pedometers, it alerts the farmer so that the heat can be detected on time, animal can be inseminated, and the next progeny can be taken on time, which leads to economic prosperity. Then we have automated milking booth wherever the animal it goes on its own. Milking machine is fitted by the help of a robotic arm. The animal is milked on its own, and then the animal it leaves the barn. We have robo carcass splitter. So, talking about the SDGs laid by the United Nations, we have in total 17 SDGs, 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we were analyzing one day that all these SDGs, be it no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, and all these SDGs, they can be met up by this sustainable livestock farming. So, livestock can meet up all these sustainable livestock goals. And as far as if we talk about economics, we talk about ROI, that is return on investment. So the return on investment, I can say that it is the quickest in case of livestock sector. You purchase a cattle, the next day that cattle provides you with milk, you can sell that milk and fetch profit. So ROI, it is quickest in case of livestock sector. And if we talk about the prospective scope for societal upliftment, we see that there's sustained income and economic growth in livestock sector. Initially, the contribution in the GDP of the nation, it was some 1 to 2%. It has risen to 5%. And if we talk about the GDP, agricultural GDP of Punjab, constantly the contribution of livestock it is increasing, and the one third agriculture GDP of Punjab, it is contributed by livestock. And we have fast growing urban population which require livestock based products. Now the people, they are shifting more on livestock based product. The non-vegetarian people, the number of non-veg people in the society, they are rising. The middle class income, it is increasing. Lifestyles are increasing. Now the transportation, it has the better transportation has led to the white revolution. The milk from Gujarat, it is supplied to Punjab overnight, and the rise of supermarkets and other marketing channels, it has increased, which has led to a revolution which has revolutionized the livestock sector. So these are the prospective scopes which can be considered for societal upliftment through livestock farming. Uh, I rest my case here. Thank you so much for patient listening.
Thank you, sir, for the very informative talk. You have shown the way that strengthening of livestock sector is the need of the hour, and agriculture can indeed become the backbone of socio-economic progress of society in Punjab. So next we have with us Dr. Nitin Bansal, who is currently working as programmer in Punjab Mandi Board. He has an overall experience of around 22 years in the field of computer science. Dr. Bansal has written various books as well as developed many IT projects. Being a programmer in Punjab Mandi Board, he has taken various digital initiatives for the digital transformation of rural Punjab. His keen efforts and hard work has resulted in transparency in government working, while his technology-driven initiatives have greatly benefited rural community of Punjab. Now I request Dr. Bansal to share with us innovative approach for procurement of wheat and other agricultural commodities in Punjab during COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Dr. Mandakini, for introducing me. I'm Dr. Nitin Bansal, working as programmer with Punjab State Agriculture Marketing Board. And I also thankful to Dr. Alkesh, who has given me the opportunity to speak on the behalf of Punjab Mandi Board. Earlier, my boss, Mr. Harswinder Pal Singh Brat, PCS has to take this chair to convey the message. Today, Dr. Mandakini, can I share my screen now?
So your screen is not visible. You want us to share your screen?
Just a minute, just a minute.
Yeah. So now it's visible.
Okay, so are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for the confirmation. So welcome you all the guests here who are here to listen to me from the COVID-19 response report. It is basically a big challenge for all of us, especially the agri community, especially the farmers and the people involved with this farmer community. That it was 21st March when Punjab has imposed a complete lockdown, and in the next month it was a wheat procurement, which is a challenging one, that how we will call the farmers, the mandis, how they will sell their crops, how the other employers, other people who will work in the mandis during the wheat procurement, how this will be managed. So it was 25th March where a committee has been set up by the Punjab government so that each and every grain of farmer can be picked up. I will speak in Hindi in between that also, because it was important for all the listeners here to understand why and when and who has developed the whole digitization for this procurement basically. It was a case study also, which was taken up by the Indian School of Business, that wheat procurement in one of the largest state in Punjab has taken up place without a zero COVID report. Since Punjab is having one of the Asia's largest wheat procurement, is there 127 lakh, more than 127 lakh metric ton of wheat is being procured, and zero case has been reported during the coronavirus COVID-19 time. Very peak time at that time where India has imposed a proper lockdown for this purpose. Moreover, 27,000 crore of money was involved in the whole procurement. 17.5, 1 lakh of farmers have been issued e-passes. That was a unique initial digital initiative taken by the Punjab Mandi Board as well as the Punjab government is there. 99.6% of wheat has been procured by the government procurement agency during this time. The main achievement of the whole procurement was not only digitization was there, because the committee has also taken up several important decisions related to number of procurement centers. We have opened up 2,200 additional mandis so that farmer need not to go around far more than 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers from his place, and he will be able to sell his crop within that area. You can say that more than 5 lakh people were involved in the whole procurement process. We have taken the help of 3,000 plus ex-servicemen for this purpose. 1,700 plus trains has been arranged for this lifting also. The important part of this wheat procurement was dates and how the decision has been taken. You can see in down the slide, you can see that on the 24th March 2020, NDMA has issued directives measures to taken up by the state for the lockdown. On 28th March, Agriculture and Food Committee has been formed by the government of Punjab. On 31 March, Agriculture and Food Committee has issued various COVID-19 protocol guidelines, which will be implemented in the mandis. On 3rd of April, we have declared additional mandi yards, additional mandis, so that farmer need not to go here and there. And on the 4th of April, CMM approves the Agricultural Food Committee recommendations that e-passes will be given to the farmers. Now, what is this e-pass basically? It is a procurement by invitation. A farmer will get an invitation on his mobile, on his or her mobile, that he can come to the mandi for selling his crop. This involved the intervention of Artiya also, because it is the Artiya only who know each and every farmer very well. So what we have done, we have make a unique algorithm, unique strategy, so that we can initiate the Artiyas. They can give the farmers to this invitation. Now, 6th of, if you see the dates again, on 6th of April, PMB has issued SOPs for all the stakeholders to be followed during mandi operations. On 10th of April, Department of Agriculture released order of sanitization of all the combined harvesters. Now, this is again what Punjab Mandi Board has done, that they have followed all the COVID-related protocols. We have also sanitized all the combined harvesters about the procurement activities. On 11th of April, we have created a unique control room in Punjab Mandi Board premises only. Now, this unique control room was working in 3 shifts, because it was a 24-hour control room was there, so that we can ask the queries, because telephone was the only medium through which we will able to understand what kind of issues are coming to the farmers during the wheat procurement. On 12th of April, we have initiated the first e-pass to the farmer. Now, this is how only we have got only 15 or roughly 15 or 16 days to develop the whole system is there. So it was a big challenge for all the stakeholders here, either it is a Department of Food and Supply, or it is a Punjab government, or it is a farmer, or it is a Artiya, or it is a Punjab Mandi Board. Now, we do have, Punjab Mandi Board has various market committees, various in the mandis only, in the state only. So everyone was involved during this time. Now, I will highlight one of the process here. Now, this is the process here. A farmer used to bring his wheat from in the mandis. Artiya take the farmer from the procurement. Department of Agriculture, Farmer Welfare, market committees are involved. Department of Food and Supply was involved in all these procurement. And I will highlight one of the main. This was the major process which you need to understand. As soon as the farmer harvests the crop, he brought the crop to the mandi, especially the wheat one. Artiya's labor unloads the trolleys and clean the wheat heap using power cleaner. This is a normal course basically, but we have to change this process into a digital one. Sale of clean wheat is by the heap auction to government agency or private buyer. On sale, wheat is filled with bags and weighed by the Artiyas, Tolas, Paledas. It means so many people are involved in the wheat procurement. You can understand. Not only farmer and Artiya, they are Tolas also, Paledars also. You can say cleaners also. There are so many people who are involved during this process. And various agencies were also involved for this purpose, like procurement agencies like Pansab, Pangrain, Warehouse, FCI, Markfed. These 5 major procurement agencies which were involved for the lifting of all these crops from the which are in the mandis. Now, Artiya, after the procurement, Artiya transfers payment to the farmer online. And once the bags are sewn, these are stacked in the mandis for the lifting of transport. Contractor transports takes the bags, preserve in the wheat stocks, and delivery of stocks to the FCI or other godowns, you can say that. Then payments to state agencies by FCI on delivery as per the GI cost. Now, we have to implement this whole process digitizedly. For this, we have taken the harvesting operation of wheat during the COVID-19 part. healthy wheat crop growing in 35 lakh of hectares, promising bumper forest was there, because you can understand that 127 plus lakh of metric ton was a challenge for all of us to taken up from the mandis. And for this, what we have done, now process enabled in mandis for RMS 20, it is Rabi marketing season is there for the wheat procurement during COVID-19 break. नो इसके लिए हमें फार्मर्स को, आड़तियाज को, वहां के जितने भी एम्प्लॉयज को, उनको ट्रेनिंग देना, उनको इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म करना बहुत जरूरी था. और यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस वाज वेरी मच न्यू टू एवरीवन. Only the telephone was the medium through which we were able to call them. Now, for this purpose, we have make a few processes which you can see: procurement by invitation through Artiya Kisan e-pass. Now what we have done, because we were already in the digitization process, our system, which is called as integrated management system, through that system, we have already digitized the Artiyas. Now, it means we were carrying the information about the Artiyas. We have to sanitize our Artiyas, that now you have the responsibility to inform the farmers that now he can come to the mandi. Sir, for this, we have made a algorithm based process. Now, what is that algorithm based process is there? Because every mandi is having some capacity. To limit the number of farmers into the mandis, we have designed the whole mandi area into 30 by 30 blocks, so that within that block only one trolley can come and put his crop into that block only. In that block, it was a tola also, it was a palledar also, it was a cleaner also. Only 30 by 30 block can be used for one trolley only. So we have all the mandi areas in our system. Like there were around 4,000 mandis were there. So 4,000 mandis, we have recorded the area. We have divided the area by 30 by 30 block, so that we can come to know how many blocks are there in each mandi. When we have understand that there are number of blocks are there, it means number of passes can be generated on one particular day is there. So this is how we have designed the algorithm at the back end. It means for one mandi, we can generate this much of number of passes, and we have informed the agencies that now that this particular day you will be having this much number of crop which you have to lift. It means lifting has also been taken place immediately. So it was a responsibility of each and every stakeholders to do the things in a faster manner. For this, we have increased the number of mandis. By increasing the number of mandis, we have decreased the load into the mandis. We have decreased the rush into the mandis. Various measurement has been taken by the Food and Procurement Committee. Now, this is the process which I was discussing with you. This is very important to understand that how this was working. PMB's market committees were responsible for generating the Artiya Kisan Pass, because only the market committees were having computers, printers with them. Only market committees used to deal directly with the Artiya. So it was a responsibility of each and every market committee that you have to issue the pass to the Artiyas. As the state was in lockdown and under curfew, the Artiya Kisan Pass system was a permit for the farmer to transport wheat from the village or farm to the specific mandi on the specific date mentioned in the pass. You can see there, this was a pass is there. On the left hand side is a pass number. Mandi name was there. The validity of the pass, it means this pass is valid for this particular day only. And for which market committee and which RTI is involved for this, we have mentioned. And it was a QR based pass. It means that if a farmer or RTI is having a smartphone, he can scan this QR code and the whole information can come into the system. Another important thing, because misuse of pass should not happen. So, but for this Artiya Kisan pass system was with hologram. We have ordered about lakhs of hologram telephonically to Delhi, and the Delhi person has delivered the holograms. How he has delivered? Now there was no transport, no courier service. So one of our person has went to the Delhi to his factory, where we have taken the hologram with government permission. No, the pass was issued in the name of Artiya basis. They are trading in the last years. Now there are many Artiyas in the Punjab. How do we know that this Artiya is having this much of number of farmers? It depends upon the business which he has done in the past. Every Artiya capacity has been calculated through the system only. When we have understand that this Artiya deals with this number of farmers, we came to know that yes, this much of number of passes will be issued. Now, generation of passes through software passes provided to the Artiya. You can see the circle, you can see the whole circular part here, circular design here. Artiya provides pass to the farmer to show pass on entry of mandi. One part of the pass is retained by the farmer and the other part is given to the Punjab Mandi Board official. We have taken the services of various policemen for this purpose. Each and every Mandi is having at least 2 to 3 policemen so that they can take the and well, so that he can make the entry of farmers on the basis of that pass only. Now, how we have managed the passes, you can see in the last paragraph that traffic in Mandi was restricted by controlling the incoming road, as only one trolley was allowed with one Artiya Kisan pass. During the first 3 days of the procurement season, the daily passes were limited to a third of the total number of 30 by 30 block. It means we have taken limitations that no, we have to decrease the rush. We have to follow the COVID protocol guidelines for this purpose. And we have to sensitize the people of mandis also that now this is how you have to work. We have provided various sanitizers. We have provided various masks for this purposes also. Now, again, the first point was that how the passes were moderated. Number of passes issued on 15th and 16th April of 2020, which was the first one, software generated passes as per Artiya capacity. It issued minimum of 5 passes and in multiples of 5 thereafter, because it can also be possible that our logic get failed. So it was a trial, you can see. So on 15th and 16th April, we have just limited the number of passes to each Artiya. We will generate only 5 passes. When we found that yes, our formula is working fine, so what we have done, we have started issuing the more number of passes. 17th to 24th April, we have again make some minor changes into our logic, and we start issuing more number of passes is there, so that the capacity of mandi, as per the capacity of mandi, the number of passes can be generated. Now the issuance of minimum passes was reduced from 5 to 2 per Artiya also there, because each and every we were receiving various complaints from the Artiya that I didn't get the pass, I didn't get the pass. So what we have done, we have given the chance to each and every Artiya so that he can get the pass. Yeah, there were various challenges involved during the whole process, and we have immediately provided the resolution of those challenges also. The first challenge which comes is the optimum requirement of heap of wheat and its mandi operations was calculated. How many number of blocks are there? How many number of mandi yards are there? So what we have taken the help of our market committee employees that please tell us what is the mandi size. Please tell us how many blocks can be calculated now. Blocks can be possible. So even they have given us the data of the Artiya also, that this Artiya is having this much of farmers along with him. We have put it in the logic, make the algorithm accordingly, and designed it. Another challenge which comes is the Artiya capacity. Now, when Artiya has given his capacity, somehow he tried to give his more capacity. But when we have taken it from the market committee's confirmation, he told us that in RMS 2019-20, his business will be calculated 100%. And in KMS, that is Kharif, in paddy season, his capacity has been calculated 60% of that capacity. Even we have given the chance to new Artiya also. We have given a chance to new Artiya or new licensee also. Then the third challenge which comes us is the based on the basis of collected data. The software automatically generate the requisite number of passes. There was no manual intervention was involved. That's why it was a clean and transparent system which we have developed, that only the computer automatically calculates that how many number of passes can be delivered on this particular day, how many number of passes can be given to this particular Artiya, and in case any Artiya loses his capacity, that yes, he has exhausted his capacity, then another day he will never get the passes for that particular thing. So you can see in the figure, you can see in the image, this was a mandi size, and this is how a 30 by 30 block will work. यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है कि बोरियां कहां पर बोरियां लगेंगी, means the whole 30 by 30 block is divided into 4 parts, where the stock will be staggered, where the cleaning will be happen, where the weight will be produced, and where the farmer will be staged. Now, box 2, you can see that he received the e-pass. Now, whenever a farmer will come to the mandi, we have made another digital initiative into this. We have integrated this system with the Ola apps. Now, Ola is very much famous for the taxi services, but we have taken the help of Ola services, that if we track the farmer mobile number, we will come to know when the farmer is coming from his home or coming from his farm to the mandi. We will track him. So this has also been very well worked for us. Ola has really helped us during this COVID time, that the mandi officials came to know that now the farmer has left his farm and he is coming to the mandi. So it has helped us to check the rush in the mandis also. Now, this is, I was talking about the number of mandi yards. The earlier practice was that there are total of around 1820 purchase procurement centers were there. But due to COVID, we have increased it by 2.5 times fold. It has increased to double of that, that is around 4,000, so that we able to ensure that COVID protocol or social distancing norms can be followed. This was about the wheat procurement control room I was talking about. It was a district-wise wheat procurement control room, just to so that the queries, the problems of farmers and RTA can be resolved. So many numbers of queries have came during that time. You can see in the graph also, from 11 April to 21st April, we have received almost 11 queries were there. But as soon as the system, as soon as the procurement season start ending, the number of complaints start decreasing, and moreover, the number of queries are also getting resolved accordingly. Now, other measures taken up by the Agriculture and Food Committee, we have taken the help of guardians also. Now, this is very important again. In the mandi, to avoid the rush, there are so many measures were taken, policemen were there, but employees were busy in farmer activity. Now, we have taken the help of guardians of governance for this purpose. They have really helped the farmers, they really help the employees, so that they can understand that how you will keep the social distancing, how you have to wear the mask, you have to sanitize your hands regularly. We have given hands-free sanitizers in the mandis also. In the last paragraph, you can see that Punjab Mandi Board ensured sanitization and safety through foot-operated 1124 hand wash stations. 500 liter capacity has been installed. 35,000 liters of sanitizer has been made available to all of them. 1.5 lakh of masks and N95 masks were distributed. 200 first medical kit has been distributed. Holograms for fast fumigation of mandis. That was again very important. Whenever the mandi was empty, it was fumigated with sodium hypochlorite, so that the mandi gets sanitized. 12.65 lakh of sodium hypochlorite solution was used during this purpose. And no doubt about this, that we are successful to cover up the rush in the mandis. And that is the reason that there was no COVID case reported during that time is there. Various newspapers have highlighted this information. Even we have received rain also during that time, but government has made the operation so much successful. It has been sanitized. Another important thing, because fruit and vegetables were also one of the important part of life. So for this, we have also sensitized our fruit and vegetable mandis on the basis of sanitization. Again, we have implemented the logic of our software system. Through this, we have able to cover up this for the cotton also. This is a snapshot that how we have made the mandis sanitize. Each farmer who comes to the mandis get hand washed with the sanitizers. Foot operated hand wash stations are working. Fumigation of mandis were working. Now, this is what I was talking about. Ola connects this helped the Punjab Mandi Board and 1.7 million of farmers. Delivery of pass issued, it was a QR based. Then it went to the app. Whenever the farmer click on the link coming in the form of SMS to him, he will get connected to the COVA app. And as soon as they will get connected to the COVA app, we will able to track him that when he is coming with his mandi, right? Our Punjab Mandi Board mobile app is also been integrated with this, so that each and every person will get the benefit in the form of digital information. There is no need of manual intervention during all this time. Police and volunteers were responsible for were being also deputed in the mandis. Guardians of governance, government machinery, district people were involved. So this is all about. Here I want to tell you about that the software development infrastructure team was heading. We have taken the help of Department of Governance Reforms, who is the IT backbone of government of India, Punjab. We have taken the help of them also while working with the software development team, because Punjab Mandi Board is having their own IT team here, but still, like we have worked in a team manner is there. We have taken the help of Department of Governance Reforms. We have taken the help of Food and Supply Department so that we can digitize each and everything which is possible. SOPs has also been issued in the form of in Punjabis and in English, so that both the stakeholders can understand all these things. This is all about from my side as far as wheat procurement during COVID-19 is concerned. And still, you can see that recently, yesterday only, a news has came into the market that from the Indian Express side also, digital J form start issuing to the farmers, which was first in the country that farmers start getting their J form. Now, J form is a receipt which farmer must get it from the Artiya. Earlier, he used to face so many hurdles just to get a J form from the Artiya, but now, as soon as he sell his crop, payment will go into his account. And as soon as his payment will go into the account and we get the successful confirmation from the bank, J form will also be issued to him to his WhatsApp account or to DigiLocker also. So this was a big achievement again for us during the last 3-4 days. Is there Kashmir Singh was the first farmer in Rajpura who has got the payment as well as the J form in his account. Thank you very much. This is all about from my side.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your commendable work for our farmers through innovative tools and apps. So last but not the least, I invite Mr. Manjot Singh, Chief Technical Officer, Simba Quartz. Mr. Singh is the co-founder and Chief Technology Officer at Simba Quartz, which is an IT services and digital marketing company located in village Tangra in district Amritsar in rural location of Punjab. He also leads the research and development wing at Simba Quartz. Under his leadership, his company is serving globally and also doing a lot of philanthropic work like shoe giving and food sharing campaigns. This venture has been awarded as the upcoming Startup of the Year 2016 by SOCAM. India. His work has been appreciated by many media houses and TV channels, and Mr. Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister, Delhi, has visited him personally to appreciate the unique business model of his venture. I invite you, sir, to share your experience on social technopreneurship. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to make sure if I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
All right, I'd like to share my screen as well. So, now, is my screen visible right now?
Yeah, it's visible.
All right, just give me a minute. sorry. Yes. So a very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you so much. I would like to congratulate everyone to the event that we are celebrating, 75th Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And I would like to thank the whole panel and the council for having me here. And currently being a very young entrepreneur, I have a lot of key takeaways to take from all of you, especially Dr. Jatinder Kaur, you mentioned about the economy of rural Punjab and creating the jobs at the root level. So I would like to talk about more about it in my session. So science and society, so they have always thrived in conjuncture. So science has showed endless fortunes to better the social world and has sparked assertive thinking on the events that drives us. So I come from an IT background, and I want to address the council on a unique model that is a need of an hour for the Punjab's economy. That is the growth and diversity in technical acumen of Punjab. So the big cities, they have contributed maximum to the country's GDP till now. So if you talk about the cities like Mumbai, Delhi, or Gurugram, so that's a great example. So they have seen extensive growth in their local economy. So if we talk about especially about the Gurugram, they have seen about 400% rise in their population. That included the migrated population and expansion of the city. So it saw about 400% rise in the population in last 2 decades. And although like we should appreciate the boom in the local economy of the cities, but eventually the towns, they are not equipped with a number of natural resources or other resources to hold the population growth at this scale in the long run. And work and employment, it remains one of the top reasons for internal interstate migrations. So if we take the data from 2 decades ago, so work and employment was one of the top reasons for the interstate migrations. Yeah. So if we talk about the rural to rural migrations, about 53 million people migrated, but the main reason is that it's due to marriage of the females, like they usually migrate from rural to rural. But if we talk about the migration from rural to urban, so work or employment, it contributes the maximum. So today there is a need of opening the ocean of opportunities for the rural population of India, who has thrived decades on the agriculture economy, and it like since the beginning of the Green Revolution, and the rural India, it has the unexplored potential to participate in the economy in other aspects as well. So the estimated contribution of GDP in terms of net value added is about 98,000 in urban areas and about 41,000 in rural areas. So which is even less than the half. So without a second thought, I decided to use whatever knowledge, whatever skills that are possessed in the technology to empower the locals and start making them more employable, to start diversifying the skills of the rural. And with my sister having a very great experience in marketing and sales, and I felt that IT and marketing can be a great and exquisite combination. So what I went through during my personal growth as a student had a lot to contribute to the thought process of entrepreneurship. My alma mater, where I belong, Thapar Institute, it provided me with a great environment to learn and dive into the wave of entrepreneurship. And I was very clear to what I needed to do in my sophomore year, because I was seeing like their kind of terminology that I would like to propose and emphasize, that is IT pinned and reverse migration. So I would like to explain how the IT pin model worked for a rural village, which is located about 25 kilometers away from the holy city of Amritsar. And starting with the investment, like we invested a lot in building the infrastructure and the work culture. And even today, we are spending about 2.5 lakhs per month just as a conveyance expense. This is how we make our office space as accessible for the employees traveling from big urban cities to the rural. And as a principle, about 25% of the workforce which are employed with us, it's a policy that they had to belong to the 50-kilometer radius of the village Tangra, and the 50% of the employees should be belonging to Punjab only. I would like to share like a dedicated employee who has joined about 5,000 per month about 5 years ago. They have leveraged the resources, they have leveraged the talent pool that came in the rural.
So you are not audible. We are not able to listen to you, sir. I think,
Hello, I'm audible now.
yes, sir. I think there
I'm
was
very
some
sorry.
technical glitch and we lost you.
Okay, where was I? I mean, where was the point? Like you were able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are not able to see your screen, so please share your screen.
I think there's some technical glitch. I'm not able to share my screen.
Okay, then you can.
Okay, I'll just go on. So
Okay.
it's all right. So I'm sorry. So I was talking about the people. I was talking about the workforce. That how a dedicated employee who had joined us for about 5,000 a month, and he leveraged the opportunities to upgrade his technical skills in IT, and he was able to like they are able to earn about 60,000 per month at this moment. And yes, this model has such a remarkable case studies where people have leveraged the benefit of technology to upgrade themselves. And I'm very much convinced that how this model stand out on the motto of changing lives. And with a technical understanding, these people can now deliver the projects based on the cutting edge technologies like IoT, SaaS, cloud infrastructure, and analytics. And the list goes on. And I firmly believe the people of the Punjab, they are very talented, very enthusiastic, and they are highly trainable in whatever field they get. So given a conducive environment, the rural talent has a great capacity to make Punjab an IT hub. Even the support staff, after they shift, they love to spend time training to learn the basic skills of computer. And training is a very big challenge to prepare an employee to do any skilled job, especially, everywhere. So we introduce a separate talent incubation zone, which empowers the locals to get trained along with the employees of the Simba Quad and add their new skills to their skill sets. And I'm very proud to tell you that 15% of the employees that are currently working with us, they were trained from scratch in such incubation centers. And our model has exclusive examples of people who did not possess a great communication skills, computer knowledge, but they had the will to learn. So they participated in the talent incubation program specially designed for them. So let's take an example of graphics designing. So it's a very quick skill to learn and enough to give you a modest earning of about 20 to 25,000 per month. So training has to be tackled with very high precisions and optimizations. And I would like to throw some light on how technology has helped us to standardize these procedures for the model. So we, as a team, we developed an customized internal productivity tool, which gives the further boost to the standard operation procedures. So it took about 6 years to build a team of 30, but with the technology boom, it took only 1 year to scale them to 120 people. And technology has played a very big role to automate many of the procedures that were developed in the span of 6 years. So employees, it is mandatory for them to spend 1 or 2 hours daily on training and personal development. So we leverage the power of the data analytics and tools to analyze what employees are working on, and it helps to give an idea to the employees that where they're spending their most of the time. So to support the linguistic skills as well, we have special classes for the ones who need to improve their linguistic acumen and comprehensive ability. So we have ample examples, like 60% of our customers, they are offshore India, and I'm very proud to tell that only these people who have trained from scratch, they are able to deal with such a, with such a confidence in their linguistic ability. And surprisingly, this productivity tool that I'm talking about, which manages a team of 120 people, it was a part of research and development, and it was developed by these people only. And same employees are now contributing to the R&D of the upcoming technologies as well, such as IoT, blockchain, etc. The cloud infrastructures has enabled IT sector to afford high-level technologies at at low cost, and it has brought down the fixed infrastructure costs that a normal IT services or MSME could not afford in the previous era. I would like to throw some light on another angle, that is reverse migration. So people generally move to bigger cities in search of better employment opportunities. So it can help to geometrically diversify the usage of the natural resources. So by this, I mean, I would like to give you some data points. So for instance, in our village only, starting with small things. So we created a requirement, our model created a requirement of 15 to 17 liters of fresh milk every day. A local electrician is preferred to look after electricity tasks. The company has 3 campuses, and hence they generate a requirement of repair and maintenance almost every day. A local dairy farmer now earns more money than he used to before. The village homes are slowly adjusting to the PG culture, which they never saw it would happen. And like all of the data points that I mentioned, like they generally add up the economy of the big and urban cities. So the question is, why not the villages? Like, why not the rural people? What if people were given more opportunities and culture to groom themselves and build their skill set right where they belong? So my company, it has a live example of which has contributed to the motto of changing lives. So I envision this model to be replicated at large scale in near future as a part of technopreneurship initiatives. So that was all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Your work on transforming society through technology is indeed commendable, and there is a lot to learn from your initiatives. So with this, we come to the end of today's event, and I would take this opportunity to thank all our esteemed speakers and participants for attending the event. Thank you all once again.